Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tamara Temu Collective, where dreams have no filter. If you are new here, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go. And for those of you that have been watching, I appreciate your continued support. I do see that I have a few new subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm interested to know how you found my channel. If you would do me a favor and leave me a note in the comment section and let me know how you found me and why you've decided to subscribe. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. So, the if you have listened, if you've been here and you've listened to my channel, I know, I don't just believe, I know that things happen for a reason, conversations come about for a reason. Nothing just happens, okay? Nothing just happens. So, what I'm going to do is I want to break down a very surprising conversation that I had with a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old young woman. And in this conversation, especially after the conversation, which was very short, by the way, but in that conversation and after, I realized how many adults, full-grown adults of all ages, still have that 19-year-old, that 20-year-old, that 21-year-old, that younger version that is still wanting to be paid attention to, that is still wanting to be free, that is still wanting to follow his or her dream, that wants to be acknowledged. Okay, and I'm going to break this conversation down. There are some aspects, and I may have to make this 2 videos because I don't want to make this too long. But there were certain aspects of this conversation that I thought would be very helpful for me to share to get us to understand what holds us back from our vision, what keeps us in a certain frame of mind, what keeps us holding on to programming that does not help, what keeps us afraid of our own power. So let me get into it. So again, this conversation was not even planned, very unexpected. 19-year-old, off the top, at the very top of the conversation, negative self-talk. From the time she woke up, it was her routine for herself. Especially on that particular day that we had the conversation. She just got fired from her job. I didn't ask why, the reason didn't matter. And the words that she used for herself, she described herself as being stupid, not intelligent, not able to do anything right. And those were the 3 things. And then she kept using the word stupid to describe herself. Okay? So that was the first thing. Then after that, she went into her weight and how she hates the way that she looks because she felt she was too big. She didn't feel pretty enough. She started talking about, from her weight to her face, all these, to the way that she dressed, all these things that she felt like she needed to fix about herself. Okay. If so, in her mind, she was thinking, if only I can fix this about myself, then I can be happy. If I fix this, then I can have what I want, and just on and on. Then she made a comment after all of that. Then she made a comment saying, I just don't understand. Well, even before I get to that part, she started talking about her dreams, what she really wants her life to look like. She's an artist. She's a painter. She is passionate about women's rights. And the other thing, and she said she wants to direct movies. She's a storyteller. So all of these things, and I could hear, at the top of the conversation when she's going through all of this negative self-talk and this programming, you could hear, now we're on the phone, okay? Didn't see her face to face, but her words, her voice, you could hear the hurt. You could hear the shame, which is what I heard in her voice. You could feel it. I could feel it. Then, after telling me what she wants out of her life, then she says, well, the adults in my life don't want me to take that route. They just want me to go to college and go to a business school or something. So here she is. She's delaying all of that, pushing what she wants to the side to pursue a major that she's not even interested in. Oh, and then on top of that, she mentioned, well, going back to her dumping on her own intelligence, she says, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this college to get this degree that I don't want, because she felt she wasn't smart enough to get a scholarship. Now, I don't know if she tried or not. So then she says, I just want, hold on. I don't understand why life has to be so hard. I just want a little happiness. That's what she said. So before I jumped in, because really within the first 10 seconds of the conversation, I wanted to jump in. However, with what was coming through, her energy that was coming through, she didn't need to feel any resistance. Because if I would have jumped in right away, that would have caused more friction for her. Side note, for those of you that help people in that way, sometimes you have to listen first before jumping in, because if you jump in too soon, that causes more friction that the person is already feeling within anyway. And you could only just be adding fire to fire, even though your intention is to help. So, side note. So anyway, after all of that, I really had to really connect with spirit, really connect and ask for guidance of my words. And I won't get into everything that I said to her. But at the end of this very brief conversation, what I said to her was, and it was very simple, and I questioned the simple advice at first, but that's what kept coming through for me to give to her. I told her, you need to say these words every single morning throughout the day. I don't care if you're washing dishes. I need for you to say, today gets to be easy for me. Period. I told her, I don't care how you feel. Open your mouth and say these words when you wake up in the morning. You say, today gets to be easy for me. When you go to bed at night, today gets to be easy for me. That is what I left her with at the end of that conversation. Now, I thought, what? After everything that I just heard, everything that we just talked about, such simple advice. But then I had to remember that that's using the power of our words. And I talk about this in my latest ebook, Your Cosmic Unleash Beyond Manifestation. I go into the importance of our words and the mighty breath that is accompanied with every single word that we speak. When we decide to put on our words, what unfolds can seem like magic, but that is the way that we're supposed to live. We have the power to live in that way, where our words that we speak, it is like opening up a gift. But anyway, I gave those words to her. Now, let me break that down, this conversation, because I want to show how everything that she said, my command for her is that she doesn't end up, 3 decades later, trying to navigate through all that garbage of programming and really, I don't know her family background. We didn't even get into that. But at a certain point, all of us have a story about our childhood. All of us do. Period. But at some point, we have to make a decision and say, yes, I may have been programmed that way, but now I am a free, divine human. I am free and I'm divine, and I get to create my life. I get to decide how I'm going to think and look, how I'm going to think about myself, how I'm going to look at myself when I stand in the mirror. And so my command for her is that she snaps out of that with those words. So I don't know how she took it. I don't know. But I couldn't be worried about or be concerned with that. I just had to follow the direction. Okay, so anyway, let's break down this conversation. So with the negative self-talk, she saying she felt stupid about getting fired. She had all of these things that she wanted to fix about herself before she could get to a certain point. So this is negative self-talk. This negative self-talk leads to this, when you find yourself with that negative chatter, what that is that showing you how much you allow outside circumstances to control your inner environment. It doesn't have to. It's not supposed to. Are you the divine human? Yes, you are. So outside circumstances has nothing to do with your vision, has nothing to do with the type of power that you hold. Nothing. And because we don't nip that negative self-talk in the bud in our early 19-year-old, as a 19-year-old, in our early 20s, then we end up 20, 30, 40, 60, 50, 60 years later, still acting like we're victims when we're gods and goddesses, able to, I don't want to say control, but mold our lives in the way that we desire to live it. So also tied into that negative self-talk, not only do we start to allow outside circumstances, but then that unworthiness feeling comes in. That unworthiness comes in. And then we start to say, well, I have to fix myself, because otherwise, if I fix myself first, then I'll be worthy of a successful business. If I fix myself first, then I'll be worthy of a healthy relationship. If I fix myself first, then I'll be worthy of this 5-bedroom home that I really want, that I really desire. If I fix myself first, then I can write the book. If I fix myself first, then I can create the story. If I fix myself first, then I can be a world traveler. Basically all that's saying is, if I fix myself first, then I'll be worthy of how I want to live my life. Now, for example, this young woman was talking about her weight. Even if, like I said, we were on the phone, I don't know what she looked like. And then even if I did, I can't tell her what's an unhealthy weight for her. Even if she was at an unhealthy weight for her body type, for her age, and for her height. Even if she was considered obese. Her looking in the mirror, hating what she sees, is not going to help her lose weight. Is not going to help her lose weight. So how does that tie into how we carry that into our adulthood? We don't give ourselves the grace for the steps that we take to, I'll keep using weight as an example. We don't give ourselves the grace to get to the weight that is healthy for us. We don't give ourselves the credit to say, you know what? Maybe I'm not where I really want to be in my weight. But these are the things that I'm doing. I'm walking 20 minutes a day. I started doing that. That needs to be celebrated. And let me just say this. Even if you didn't do that, you would still be worthy of what you want. Why? Because we're born that way. We're born, we come into this world with a toolkit of complete genius that's tied into our talents and our gifts and our dreams. We come here with it, which means we don't have to fix anything to be worthy of it. We're already worthy of it, period. But as adults, when this type of mindset gets into our programming and it gets intertwined, that's what happens. We start to think, well, I have to fix certain things, or I have to do all these things to be worthy of something, to be worthy of what I want. So then that gets into delay. We delay our joy. We delay what we want. And we lie to ourselves and say, well, I just need more information, or I need to do more research. When in reality, we're still identifying with that whole idea of I need to fix something first, fix something about myself because of unworthiness. When really we don't feel like we deserve that thing. We don't feel like we deserve joy. Then, hold on, I need some water. Then to delay our joy, that's where procrastination comes in. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about procrastination again in another video. But that's where procrastination comes in. And I'm not talking about resting, but I am talking about procrastinating out of unworthiness. Okay? And only you can answer that. How do you know you feel unworthy? If you ask yourself that question, the first answer that comes up, that is the real answer. Okay? So, then for her to say, then she said, why at the end, she said, why is life so hard? I just want a little bit of happiness. That sets off, if it's not taken care of, that sentence right there, I just want a little happiness, that sets off a domino effect of settling. Settling for less than what we want. Settling for a meal at a restaurant that we really don't like because we don't want to look a certain way, or we're too worried about what other people think if we send the plate back. I know that may have sounded like a silly example, but how we're programmed, it comes out in every part of our lives and how we are being. That's why the programming in our mind is so important, because it affects our being. So, how many times as an adult have you settled? How many times as an adult have you settled in relationships of all types, in a job, in money, if you have a business, in your pricing, how you price your product or your service? How many times have you settled? How many times have someone asked you, well, what would you like to do? And you just said, oh, I'm not sure. When really, in the back of your mind, you knew exactly what you wanted, but you settled for, oh, we can do whatever you like. You settled for, I don't even know what you would call that. You settled for not saying what you wanted. When you don't say what you actually want, when you don't say what you desire, that is a form of settling. Okay? Then this ties into how we receive help, how we receive support. So this young woman, because it sounded to me, I got the feeling that the adults in her life, they didn't necessarily treat her bad or treat her wrong. But for some reason, she didn't feel like she could trust them to support her in her dreams, because they actually, again, they told her, no, you're not going to do this thing, all these other things, you're not going to pursue any of the things that give you joy, but just go, get this degree that you're not interested in. So she's feeling like the adults around her they're not going to support her in any way. Then she, and I forgot to mention this, she mentioned that, some of her friends are negative. So here she is, as this young woman, feeling all of these things and feeling like she has no one that she can go to or trust to give her support. So then she said, well, I'm just going to figure all of this out myself. And we got into a conversation about that. But as adults, if we don't take care of that early, what happens? As adults, we carry on that mindset of, I'm just going to have to do all of this by myself. There's no one in my life that I can go to for support. That affects how we even receive help. Think about the last time someone offered you help. I don't care if it was carrying groceries out to the car, even if you didn't need help. Think about how you handle that. Think about, someone who offered you money. Did you turn it down? Think about, maybe you took somebody somewhere and they said, well, here's, some gas money, whatever, and you turned it down. All of that is tied into programming in the way that you look at support and receiving support. As divine humans, we're not meant to do anything by ourselves. We're meant to have support from each other, whether that's through your family, friends, or not. It could be just a network of people that maybe you didn't grow up with, but these are just people that you feel good around, you have good conversation with, you guys help each other, you talk to each other. Just talking, having someone say to you, hey, if you want to just talk, let me know. I'm here for you anytime. That's support. And we get to this place because we haven't dealt with that 19-year-old mind that says, oh, I just have to do everything by myself because I just don't trust anyone in my life. So now we put up this wall which keeps us from receiving. Spirit, God, our support team, unseen, uses other people to support us. And if we have not reprogrammed our mind to know that we are worthy of support, unexpected support, in the most loving way, we'll push away people, we'll push away lucrative opportunities that are aligned with our soul purpose. We'll start pushing that away because why? Because we have allowed that limiting untruth that we have to do everything on our own. We have allowed it to settle. So now we got to pluck it out. Even when it comes to, I'll use this example. You hear about people who, they hire everything for their lives. Like they hire people to shop for them. They hire people to housekeep, including their laundry, to run errands for them, to make their vacations plans, to cooking for them. Even in business, you have, I'll save that for another section, but think about those people that do that. They're not afraid to ask for support. Yeah, are they paying for services like that? Yes, but that's still support. That's still support. Also, if you are a business owner and you're having trouble delegating tasks, even the tasks that you don't want to do, and you're still doing them because you're having a hard time delegating, there's a deeper level to that. There's a deeper meaning to that. Check yourself to see if that is coming from a place of, oh, well, I'm having a hard time delegating because this is coming from programming that I need to reprogram. This is coming from a limiting belief that I have to do everything by myself, that I can't trust someone else to support me. So, let me make sure that. Oh, and also, when it comes to support, even if, think about a time when you even been in the store, somebody let you go in front of them in line. And instead of you saying, oh, thank you, and just walking in front of them, you say, oh, no, no, no. You got a problem with receiving help. That's an issue. There's something in the back of your mind that's still telling you that you don't deserve support. And you may be thinking, well, these are small examples, but they're not. Because our programming, I'm going to say this again. I know I keep saying this, but it's so true. Our programming affects every part of our life, every aspect, because it affects our being and how we exist. So I do not want this 19-year-old 3 decades later, 4 decades later, still having to navigate the limiting beliefs, the bad program. Well, I won't even say bad programming, but the programming that needs to be shifted, that needs to be reprogrammed. And it starts with how we speak, the words that come out of our mouth. The words that come out of our mouth are so powerful because it's connected to our life source, it's connected to our breath. And when we get that, when we understand that and how powerful that is, you're unstoppable. Period. So I told her, today gets to be easy for me. Say that every day. Today gets to be easy for me. If you know, I'm going to give that to you. If you know that you have limiting beliefs that started, even way before 19, and I keep using that age because that was the age of the young woman. But if you know that programming is keeping you from that next level in your life that you know is available for you, that you know that's calling you, that's waiting for you to get up to speed, it starts with your words. Today gets to be easy for me. Simple. And also, my book, Your Cosmic Unleash, it's my latest nonfiction ebook. It's called Your Cosmic Unleash Beyond Manifestation. It will be in the link in the description box. Please get that book. It's a very short read, but powerful. So that's it. That's what I wanted to leave you with in this video. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. Thank you again for being here. And until the next episode of the Tamara Temu Collective, cheers.